everybody. Welcome to the Three Spurs Boys. Wow. Big game 2 days ago? Yesterday? You guys are going to have to watch a video to find out. Arsenal 3-0 Tottenham. Let's go. Arsenal what? Go on.
Arsenal get battered
everywhere they go. Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. Wow. We're only 1 point away behind them in the league table. So this game, very big game for them. For us, for both teams actually. Big games for Arsenal as well. Hopefully Kieran Trippier, hat trick. Now, we're relatables.
You guys should be relatables.
Welcome the guys from Spurs Related. James and Andre.
Hello, boys. Lovely to be here.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Still, my throat's actually recovering a little bit. I was at the game, singing along the whole game. But yeah, I'm still absolutely buzzing, and I will be till 12 o'clock tomorrow when I'll turn nervous again for that Burnley game.
What about you, Andre?
Yeah. Oh, my end, I'm doing well. I obviously got to meet you guys all the way from Canada. He'll be here, unlike James, who gets to go to the game. But the atmosphere was just as intense where we went.
Oh yeah.
How are you guys feeling after that Arsenal win?
God, like I said, absolutely over the moon. Wasn't quite expecting it to go as smoothly as it did, but
yeah,
honestly, the atmosphere at that stadium was ridiculous. Like, I've been to many games over the years, and that was the best atmosphere by quite a long stretch. 62,000 fans. Not a single one I saw not singing, not a single one not joining in. It was just amazing stuff.
Yeah. What about you, Andre?
Well, my voice was kind of gone by the time that game ended. I hadn't been to that bar in 2 years, 2.5 years. It was great to be there again, and because the atmosphere in there is crazy. I can't imagine for you, James, how that must have been. But yeah, the atmosphere in the bar as well. If you ever get to Canada, it's pretty crazy too.
Yeah. Well, it was really nice to meet you the other day as well, because we saw each other. Our tables were only this far away.
Yeah. We were at a table. Me and my friend, we call it the good luck table. Every time we sit there, we've gone there 4 times. We've sat there twice, and those 2 times we won. The first time it was that Ajax game where we came back, and then now this one. So we're gonna try and sit there for the Norwich game. We'll see.
Yeah. We look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right. Now, to the Burnley versus Tottenham game.
Come on.
So, first question. How do you think Son will play after coming off in a little bit of a mood?
I'll take this one first, then I'll go to Andre. I think he'll be absolutely fine. I think he'll be still on fire. He even came out and said that obviously his reaction, he was just disappointed, not angry. Don't forget he's 1 goal behind Salah in the Golden Boot race. So he's obviously focused on that, as well as getting Spurs over the line to top 4. And actually he's had 20 minutes more rest, right, guys? He's had 20 minutes more rest. He'll look even more fresh. He'll be raring to go. I expect him to be on the score sheet again. I won't give you my score prediction yet, as I'm sure we'll do it in a bit. But I think he'll be raring to go, guys. There will be no effect on him.
On my end, I would say, James says it, he puts it perfectly. He is 1 goal behind Salah. I'm sure he was sitting there thinking, man, I want that goal. And I'm sure part of it was also him just being a little annoyed at himself for not finishing those chances he had before he got subbed off. Because honestly, I'm sure he didn't get subbed off and think, oh, this sucks. I'm sure he knows that Conte, out of all the players in there, he's probably the one that he wants to protect the most. Yeah. Because Harry Kane, he's just as important, but he doesn't do as much running as Heung-min Son does. So Heung-min Son needs the rest to stay fit, to be able to come into the next game and be just as ready, fit-wise, as Kane and all the other guys who are mainly just looking for Son to make that run.
Yeah. Now we saw Davinson Sanchez play yesterday. Phenomenal. Amazing. But we all know him. He does phenomenal one game, poor the next game. How After seeing Davinson Sanchez yesterday, how big of a loss would you say Romero is actually?
The thing is, right, obviously Sanchez played fairly well, like you said, clean sheet. You can't ask for too much more. He looked a little bit shaky in the first few minutes, I've got to say. He kind of was starting to dribble around defence. I was thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to miss Romero here. But listen, we've got Burnley and Norwich left. It doesn't come much easier than that. We shouldn't really be subject to many attacks where we're going to be on the back foot. That's where Romero was key against Liverpool, leading that defence. In the other big games previously this season against Manchester City, influential. But the problem is, obviously, Sanchez is far worse than Romero. But I just expect us to be comfortable in these games against Burnley and Norwich, especially Norwich. Because let's not forget, Norwich got relegated at least 3 games ago. So they're like playing for nothing. They're like, well, we're in the Championship next year. We haven't got anything to play for in this game. I expect us to absolutely batter Norwich. But Burnley, yes, there's a slight concern, but I do think we've got enough in us to overcome them quite easily.
Yeah, on my end, I would say just the same. I think Burnley and Norwich, you can't ask for any easier games, really. We're playing 2 teams that one's relegated, one's fighting for relegation. If Sanchez can't defend properly against teams like that, then that's just more proof that he just needs to go. But he is on this team. I think he is good enough to at least defend well against these 2, let alone the fact that he actually, once he got running, he defended well against Arsenal. So I think we should be okay.
Well, we all know both Burnley and Tottenham are in a race of their own, relegation and top 4. Who would you say are more desperate for the 3 points tomorrow?
Well, I'm gonna say Tottenham, right? But for both teams, it's obviously huge, like you said. Burnley literally need to win. I think 1 more and draw 1 to be safe, and then it looks like Leeds are going down. As for Spurs, of course, we know we literally must win these 2 games, and Arsenal have to drop 1. So obviously, we're all looking forward to Monday against Newcastle, but we got to get our job done first. In terms of your question of, who's it more important for, I think if you're going on a neutral perspective, it's important for both teams, right? We need 3 points. They desperately need 3 points. Like, there's no difference, really. But obviously, from our point of view, we've got to want it more. We've got to have more desire than them. We've got to beat them to every ball. We've got to start well like we did the other day. And actually, I say we started well against Arsenal. For the first 10, 15 minutes, we were actually pinned in our own half. So I don't want to see that against Burnley. I don't want to see any nerves. I just want us to play free-flowing, attacking football, smash them 3 or 4-0 and get the job done. And then over to Newcastle on Monday. Let's hope Kieran Whippier, like you said, gets a hat-trick and we can all be happy with that.
Yeah, and I would say, honestly, I would think Tottenham, from a neutral perspective, Tottenham are the ones that are more desperate for these 3. It should be more desperate for these 3 points. Burnley have a game in hand against Leeds, and they have a better goal difference, even though they're tied on points. So even if they were to lose this game, they would still be ahead of Leeds on goal difference. On our end, if we drop any points, it's over. So, if Arsenal drop points, then it won't be. But do we really want to still go into that last game 1 point behind? I don't think so. We want to be in that driving seat, and all we can really do is just. I think the standard for us is get all the points that are left to get, and then just hope for the best at that point. But I think Burnley dropping points won't be the end of the world for them. For us, yes.
Yeah.
Now, if Burnley get relegated, if we were to get 3 players from there, who would they be?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I guess I've got to start the trend of me going first, Andre, so I'll give you a little bit of time to think on this one. But I actually really like Dwight McNeil. I think he's quite an underrated midfield player. I think he could be a really good backup option, especially if we get rid of Winks, or when we get rid of Winks. Cough, Levy, sort it out. And then I'd probably say, do you know what? As a backup striker, Wedgehorse looks like a really decent option. We were linked with him a couple of windows ago, actually, from Wolfsburg. And Burnley have managed to do bits and get him for a fairly cheap value. Obviously, they got rid of Chris Wood, who was their main striker for years. But I think Wedgehorse is probably a little bit better than him. Maybe Wood knows the Premier League a little bit better, you could argue, but I think Wedgehorst is a solid striker, really powerful, good presence in the air. And I think he could be almost like our Llorente, if you remember a few years ago, coming off the bench. And then probably I'm going to have to say a defender, because let's be honest, Spurs, as we know, a little bit shaky with some centre-back options. So I'd probably go for Ben Mee, actually, as an option at centre-back. Again, pretty solid defender, been really good for Burnley. Would he be up to the challenge at Tottenham? I'm not too sure, but I guess we're clutching at straws a little bit. Burnley don't have the best squad. But yeah, Dwight McNeil, Wedgehorst, and Ben Mee, just on the cast. Maybe I've missed some obvious ones, but that's just the ones that sprang to mind.
Oh,
all right. Well, I was gonna go with those, but I'll change it up a little, because I can think of a few that I would actually maybe get over those guys. I would still possibly get Weghorst. I think he'd be a good backup option. I don't think Weghorst would come in thinking he's going to be first. I think he would just be really happy to be playing Champions League, to come in for Harry Kane or Son, probably the Harry Kane, and play those 10 minutes, but give his all. He's got very good tackling success, and his positioning. He plays just like Harry Kane, except obviously the players that he crosses it over to are not Heung-min Son, so you don't really get to see much product afterwards. But he's got great serve. He gives good service. So I would definitely go for Weghorst. He came for cheap, so I don't think he would leave. I think he would leave for cheap as well. Especially, I think they would take any money. I would also go for Tarkowski. I think he'd be a very good center back. He's 29. So I don't think he would, he would be here for too long. But I think his stats are very well, and I think that he would be a very good backup option. I would be much happier having him come in and over Sanchez, or even just have him start sometimes. I think James says it clearly: paper over the cracks for Davies. I think Tarkowski would be an improvement, as even if he's just a backup, but I would still go for the center back. And then the third would be possibly Nick Pope. I
did think Nick Pope.
Yeah, I think he's a good goalkeeper.
I should have been number one.
Yeah, whether or not he would be our starter, I don't know. Maybe James, would you have him start Nick Pope?
Nah, not at all. That's probably why I didn't say it as well. Nick Pope, obviously a really good, solid goalkeeper, been in the firing line for England national team, but it's got to be said, Hugo Lloris is just levels above, even at the age of 35. He's like a fine wine. Look at Karim Benzema this year at striker, where you need a bit more pace in you. People are saying he's the best player in the world. Karim Benzema, 34 years old. So, in Luka Modric, 36. Just because Lloris is 35, I believe, that doesn't mean his career's over. Look at Gigi Buffon, 42 years old, still playing for Parma in Serie A. I mean, do I need to say any more? People saying Lloris is too old is ridiculous. He's been another player of the season for Spurs. I can see him still being at Spurs for those 2 years that he signed on for. I love him. That's why I wouldn't want him to replace him with Nick Pope. But a sub-goalie option, obviously we know Galini isn't the best, so you could argue on that front, Andre, and Big K, Little K, that Pope could be a backup goalkeeper option.
He'd be a great backup.
It'll be a good replacement in the future for Lloris if Alfie Whiteman doesn't, surpass.
I just think Nick Pope, like I said, there's levels. Nick Pope is a very good goalkeeper, but I think we need like an international goalkeeper that plays for their national team week in, week out, has unbelievable reactions, unbelievable distribution, because Lloris, as we know, his distribution is the one that lets him down a little bit. I want to see our next keeper almost like an Alisson, almost like Edison, where they can play with their feet and ping an unbelievable pass and set our attackers free. Imagine Lloris could ping an absolute unbelievable ball to Kane and Son. We would score so many more goals. Like I saw it on Thursday, when we're literally like Son is screaming for it, Kulu's screaming for it, and Lloris just like says calm down, and rolls it out. Now that's fine. That's what Conte's taught them. But if we had that outward ball to just lob a ball the way over it and get our front three going, we'd score many more goals.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say it would be more of a question if Nick Pope would be okay coming in to be a secondary option, but a very good secondary option. So you would 100% believe that if Nick Pope would be starting most of those cup games, at least at the beginning.
Yeah. There's a keeper that I love for England. We all know him, Jordan Pickford. It's so bad for Everton. Really, terrible. But his ball distribution, phenomenal. That's one thing I have to say about him. His ball distribution is amazing. He gets very overheated, though. So I would not want him for Tottenham, sadly. But he's also kind of a player to look at off the bench.
I think Jordan. I gotta say, I think Jordan Pickford's been unbelievable for Everton recently. I think he's literally got them points. I don't know if you guys watched the Chelsea game where they won against Chelsea. He saved so many shots, and he, like you said, his distribution it can obviously be questionable, but I think his shot stopping is unbelievable at times. But I know he can make mistakes, so I do see where you're coming from there. But I mean, if you watch him for Everton lately, he's kept them away from the drop zone. Everton were favourites to go down, and now Leeds and Burnley are more favourite to go down. So I think a lot of their hero is due to Jordan Pickford. He's been unbelievable, but maybe going with what you're saying, would I take him at Spurs? No. Like I said, I can't praise Lloris enough.
It's just,
if
the ball comes in, I'd be confident. If a ball comes in, I'd be more confident with Lloris getting it. Perhaps a light ball, shot low. I would be extremely confident. Lloris grab it, okay, continue. A little wheezy about his goal distribution, but I know he could get it up there. Jordan Pickford, though, I remember our game. We shot it low, we shot it hard, completely missed the ball. He's very inconsistent when it comes to those. That's mainly reason.
I mean, obviously, I don't want to go too far away from the Tottenham Burnley, but I think Pickford literally made 5 or 6 saves against Chelsea that were unbelievable saves, absolutely unbelievable. Everton had 20% possession in that game and still won 1-0, and that's a huge win against Chelsea. Yeah, huge 3 points.
Now to the next question. Who do you think will shine for Tottenham?
Ooh, what, tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the usual suspects, to be honest with you, Lil Krish. I'm gonna say Son. I'm gonna say Kane. I think these guys will both get on the score sheet. And I think Højbjerg has been a bit of an unsung hero lately. He's been really, really solid in midfield. I think he's almost outshining Bentancur, who we thought was going to be sort of the pinpoint in our midfield, the one that's going to really make things happen. I would argue it's been Højbjerg at the minute. I would say he's one of the best players again on Thursday. I think he's going to really shine again in midfield and just dominate against the Burnley midfield, who questionably aren't the best. And actually, I think it's time, throwing a little one out there without naming the whole squad, I think it's time for Cesc to really shine. Sessegnon. He did a decent job on Thursday. Was he one of the best players? I would argue not, but I do think he's going to have a really good game tomorrow. I do see him getting maybe an assist. I'll call that one as well.
All right.
Yeah, sorry. So on my end, I would say same thing, usual suspects, Son and Kane. I mean, we haven't, as you've seen, Conte is not changing the system at all. He has not changed a single player unless he has to. So I would agree with James that it's just going to have to probably be the ones that are normally, shining week in, week out. Although I did hear injury news updates that I think Kulusevski has picked up a knock or something. So
he's ill. He's fallen ill.
He's ill.
Yeah. Apparently not going to be available tomorrow, apparently, unless he dramatically improves. But I mean, that might give Lucas Moura or Bergwijn a start. So maybe you could throw one of them in there. I would like to see Bergwijn start, to be honest with you, without going off on a tangent. I just think, give him the chance. Lucas hasn't been setting the world alight when he comes on. I think Bergwijn deserves a start, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think that if there's any time for Bergwijn to sort of show that we've been missing out on putting him in earlier, now's the time. He's got 2 games, especially if Kulusevski doesn't recover for those last 2. It's time for him to shine. So let's see.
Who would you say was shine for Burnley?
Sorry, say again.
Who would you say would shine for Burnley?
shine for Burnley? Oh, I mean, hopefully no one, right? Hopefully no one. But in terms of who I think might be a bit of a nuisance, Wedgehorst, especially as Romero, as we know, is out for the rest of the season. Can Davinson Sanchez handle the physicality? Can Eric Dyer make sure he's not going to make a mistake? They're the questions I would ask. Wedgehorst, I think, is the one to watch out for. I don't think he's scored too many goals, but I just think he could be the one that could be a problem. Again, Dwight McNeil, I said it as my first option earlier. I think Dwight McNeil is a very tricky player, can actually beat a player quite nicely and put in a good cross. I'm gonna go with those two. I'm not gonna blow Burnley's trumpet too much here and say that they're gonna have 4 or 5 like man of the matches. I think it might just be those two.
All right.
I think on my end, I'm going to go with Tarkowski. I think defensively, he's going to be very sound as per usual. He's going to definitely be either on Harry Kane duty or on Heung-min Son duty, but he won't be like holding where he's just elbowing him in the face. So definitely he'll be there bothering Heung-min Son for the 90 minutes. But luckily, we'll have another pacey player, probably Bergwijn, who's also going to be running in. But I also think that he will be dangerous from set pieces. And you know how we are at set pieces. We are not good. So
yeah,
we did score from a set piece against Arsenal, though.
We did. You're very right.
About time.
Lil Christian, did you know that because you've watched the highlights 72 times, like you told us earlier?
Yeah, 73 actually.
73. Come on,
Brilliant.
Gotta get more pumped up.
Now score predictions.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'll start off. Okay. I've had this score prediction in my head since after the Arsenal game. I'm going for a comfortable 3-0 again. The reason I'm not going higher, because I know there's going to be people that say 4-5-0 against Burnley. I think Burnley obviously are going to be absolutely fighting for their lives. Like if they lose this game, they're back in trouble as well as Leeds. Yeah. I really do think we will play really well. I just think Nick Pope could be a bit of a nightmare. I think he'll make a few good saves. But I think 3-0 sounds about right. 11v11, don't forget. We did get that man advantage. Thanks, Rob Holding, for getting sent off. But I just think 3-0, comfortable win. I think we'll have a couple of like sweaty moments where Burnley get through on goal and Lloris deals with it. But I just think the quality is just so much further above than Burnley. I don't want to curse it, guys, but I see a comfortable 3-0. If you want my scorer predictions as well, I'm saying Harry Kane's going to get 1. I'm saying Son's going to get 1 to then equal Salah. Hopefully Salah doesn't score for Liverpool. Oh, no, he won't because they've got FA Cup today. So then he'll equal Salah. Yeah. And I'm also going to say if he starts Bergwijn. So I'm going Kane, Son, Bergwijn, 3-0.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go with 2-1. I think it's going to be a little harder to beat these guys because of the fact that Romero's out, Kulusevski's out. And I also think that besides the Aston Villa game that was, I believe it was the Aston Villa game that was played recently. Other than that, almost all of their games are 1-0, 1-1, or 2-1. The last time there was something higher than that, a bigger goal differential like that, was against Brighton back in February. So they know how to sort of grind out some sort of point, whether or not it's just 1 or to get the 3. So it's going to be a very tough one, but our front is very, very high quality. So I can see us still scoring at least 2 to get those points. And, I have to believe that even though it's going to be tough, that we will get it over the line and get the 3 points, but it will be a very short margin.
Okay.
Okay, now you.
What do you mean now you?
You gonna.
I know. I'm going to take your spot and say 20-0. 20-0. Son's going to score 20, break the goal scoring record completely. First non-English player to do that, and he's going to beat Salah winning the Golden Boot. No, but actually, I'm going to have to say 4-1. Kane, Son on the double, Kane on 1, and Højbjerg scoring a long shot just like he did against Liverpool last season.
Love it. Højbjerg getting the goal he deserves.
Yeah.
He almost did it this season, yeah.
So, in my head, it's 3-1 Tottenham. But in my heart, it's 21-0 Tottenham.
What do you want to
21-0.
Yeah, I said 20-0 last game, and now you said 20.
3-1. So you're saying 3-1. So who will score then, little Krish?
Son hat-trick, and for the 21-0, Son scores all 21.
So wow. So I mean, it's not my channel to ask the questions, but a quick one for you guys. Do you think Son's getting the golden boot?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're very confident, are you?
Actually, wait, let me pause you right there. We know Son's going to get the golden boot.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear, guys.
You see, Chris, I didn't really copy you. It's just that great minds think alike. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess it's time to wrap it up, and we could ask, will Tottenham get top 4 this season? What do you guys think?
It's obviously a question I was more confident with before we sort of slipped up a few times. I won't dampen the mood. We all know which teams we slipped up to recently. But listen, I honestly think a rocking Newcastle, it's their last home game, I believe, Newcastle, at St James's Park, under the lights on Monday Night Football. Arsenal will know by that point that we'd have won. We will win. So at that point, they have to win to then get back in the driving seat. And we all know that Arsenal and Tottenham both like to bottle it. And I think this year is Arsenal's turn because 3-0, they'll be demoralised after that loss against us. They also have Arteta, who's crying his eyes out about the loss. And Conte's basically said, grow up, basically. You're acting as young as little Krish. And I'm just saying that we will put that pressure on. We'll put that pressure on. Arsenal will draw at Newcastle. I don't think they'll lose, but I think they'll draw, which is enough for us. We'll then go above them, I believe, by 1 point, I think. Or 2 points, I can't remember. And then, bang, it's back in our seat. It's back in our driving seat. Norwich, slap them away. They're absolutely pathetic. We'll absolutely destroy them. Yeah. I think it could be 20-0 against them, to be honest, guys. That's how bad they are. But, get the job done against Burnley. Newcastle are going to do us a favour, like you said at the very start. Kieran Trippier is going to absolutely do them over. He said he wants to help Spurs out, and I think I can see it. Spurs in the blood and all that. And I just believe, as we said earlier about Chris Wood going to Newcastle, I believe he'll get on the scoreline, and Arsenal fans will just go so silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to agree with James here. I think that we will get top 4. I think we have the Champions League players more so than Arsenal. And I think, all it's going to take is Arsenal to slip up just once. They need to tie against Newcastle. It's over because we have to believe that with the players we have, that we'll get 6 points out of 6. We're not going to drop any points. At least that's what I have in my heart. That's what needs to happen. And it shouldn't be any other way. That's the expectation they should have going into these games. So we'll get top 4.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Very welcome.
It was an honor to have you guys on our show.
Thank you guys for inviting us. I mean, I've been talking to your dad for a little while about coming on and said, give me a shout if you need us. And, it's always a pleasure to have him on our channel. You guys will have to come on the Spurs Related channel. We're growing nicely now. With the vlogs have done well, so we're pushing even further to 1K. And we'd love to have you guys on and be on a video. So we'll have to sort that out as well. But no, thank you guys so much for inviting us on. It's been a pleasure. Yeah,
honestly, thank you guys. It's been such a good time here.
Before you go now, can you tell the people where they can find you?
Of course, yeah. So on all socials, Spurs Related. Instagram is where we have most of our followers, nearly at 65,000 there. It's kind of crazy. And then Twitter, you can find us at Spurs_related_. Facebook's just Spurs Related. And the one we really want to knock on the door is the YouTube, like I said, Spurs Related. We just hit over 700 subscribers today.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. The main thing I just want to very quickly say is if you guys want to experience what it's like going to a game, we've got a couple of match day vlogs up, which was absolutely incredible. Me and Alessio went to the game. We're very fortunate. And we also got Jack Burford, who's a really good, energetic young guy who did his perspective as well. So go check out those videos. And guys, Spurs Related on all socials.
Remember to go like and subscribe.
Like the video, guys.
And become very relatable.
I love it. That's that's our motto.
Yeah.
Love it.
Have a good day, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Come on, you Spurs.
Boys, come on!
Come on. Bye. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And if you guys want to go watch our Arsenal pregame and post-match, go click on the... Oh, what? I got... There we go. That one. Right there. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And remember, today is to do.
So go for it.
Come on, you Spurs.
We sang in France, we sang in Spain, we sing in the sun and we sing in the rain. They tried to stop us, but they did it. The thing we love most is being a kid, being a kid, being a kid. The thing we love most is being a kid.
Come on, you Spurs.
Make sure to like and subscribe.